Hello. Today, I am showcasing not multiple, but only one concept. But before I show that, Ernie C3 actually played my game. As you can see, he spent a good amount of time playing and saying cool things about it. If you want to see that clip of the stream, I'll leave it in the description. Thank you to the viewers that brought this to my attention. Also, huge shout out to Epic_Tank for pushing out an update in build mode. One of the features that he added is actually very similar to the concept I will be showing today. When I heard that he made a custom NPC feature, I was worried that I spent a week on a feature in my concept game for no reason, but then I tested it out and realized that they're very different. But anyways, the first thing you may notice when you enter the game now is the new button on the bottom right. Let's press it and get to making our custom character. Many people have been asking me to add this ever since I first started making these videos. I'll save displaying comments for when I'm actually working on the character so that I could explain the UI and functions of things. As you can see, the camera is like Roblox Studios. Upon pressing the Create New button, a frame of templates appears. You can choose which body type you want to use for your character. Once you choose the template, many different frames appear. The first one is the Base Colors frame, which allows you to color parts of the template itself. You could color the torso, left arm, left leg, right leg, and clothes. The clothes option will color the shirt or dress, depending on the template type. But, you know what, I don't really want to use this template. I'm going to clear it and choose a different one. I'll choose the hoodie, like Foxy. Let's color the template. So, aside from our base colors frame, we also have a part texture frame. This can be used for extra assets that we want to add onto the template. Like in build mode, you can choose from colors and materials. The assets placing system works slightly differently than it usually does. Instead of choosing an asset, then using a tool to place it, it places when you click the button. This works by getting the focus position of your camera and placing the part there. It does, of course, have a snap, which can be adjusted at the bottom of the screen. Last, but not least, we of course have a tools frame. The only difference between the tool selection here and in my concept game is that there's one fewer tool and two more. The one gone tool is the build tool, like I mentioned earlier, and the two new tools are the no tool and the configure tool. The no tool was in build mode for some time but eventually got removed. It doesn't do anything, it's just mainly so you could view your creation without having annoying selection boxes or to prevent living in fear of accidentally clicking and messing up something. The configure tool is used for some extra settings you want to apply to your part. I will show how the configure tool works later. But now that I explained those, shout out to I don't want to do this, it's so many people. Caleb, M1C, Hamidi Gamer, E1R, Poplio and Primarina, DBSA Tutorials, Dippy Cypher, Bibaxun, G90, Karen Aslama, Octopus Gaming Roblox, Tinyman Dash, Golden Fire King, Cam_BM, Pig Bankner Signs, Pines, F6J, Ugababalginium 5764, Mateus, J2D, and Luther 8486. Hold on, I'm not finished, some people in my Discord server also suggested this. Also shout out to MC Julio, Cinderace, and Scry. Okay, now that that's out of the way, you can see that I'm making some sort of reddish bear thing. I forgot to mention a few extra features in this recording, decals and transparency. I will make sure to add another recording to this video showing those. Okay, now on to the configure tool. For normal assets, the configure tool just allows you to choose which body part the asset should be welded to. You'll see why this is important later. For now, I'm just going to say that I'm done. We will come back to it later. This is our final step to creating our character, choosing the animations as well as the audio. Each animation type, walk, idle, and jump scare, has the existing NPC animations and some presets. The walk and idle animations allow you to also use the Roblox default animation. You could experiment with these to see which animations best fit your character. I'm open to suggestions for new animations. You could stop the running animation by pressing the red Stop All Animation button. Next up, we have the name of the NPC. This name will get filtered and will not be allowed if it's the name of an existing NPC, or it's the name of a custom NPC you already made. Only builders will be able to see this name when choosing an NPC. For audio, you can set the theme music, jump scare sound, and hit sound. You can also customize certain attributes of it. I'm going to look for a good audio ID to set for the theme. I like this one. I'm going to copy the ID and paste it into the input box in the game. The configurations from the last audio is the same, so let's adjust it. With these boxes, you can configure volume, speed, pitch, distortion, and flange, respectively. Keep in mind that the speed affects the pitch. I would recommend setting the volume to around 0.1 to 0.5 for the theme, because when the sound is playing from a part in 3D space, it seems to be louder than it does when you're normally previewing the sound. Now let's set the jump scare sound. I'm just going to use a bear roaring for this one. That sounds a bit more like a lion. Let's configure this sound to make the pitch/speed normal, and turn the distortion down. Perfect, now let's work on the hit sound. I'm going to make it a slashing sound because that's the animation that I set for the bear. Perfect. Now, I'm going to save this character but come back to it. I can do this by pressing Finish and Save, and then loading the newly saved character. As you can see, all of the configured assets are saved. However, there is currently a bug where the hit sound is not saving for some reason. Like I mentioned before, you can't save a character with a name that you already set to a certain character. Instead of the bear slashing the player, what if I want him to beat the player with a crowbar? I don't really want to make a crowbar from scratch, though, so I'm going to use the mesh asset. By getting a mesh ID, I can turn this box into a cool mesh. I can also apply a texture ID if I want to. I could search up crowbar in the toolbox in Studio with the mesh parts category, but if I don't find a good mesh, I could also go to the models category and find a free model that doesn't have any scripts. Now that I have the mesh ID, I could use the configure tool on the mesh and paste it there. So far, the mesh is the only asset that has a different configuration frame. I'm also going to use the texture ID. As you can see, the crowbar is tinted red. This is because the part's color actually affects the texture. To get rid of this tint, let's paint it white or gray. Another setting is the scale factor. I added this because meshes can be very, very big, or very, very small sometimes. If you want to squish the mesh a certain way, then you could use the advanced scale factor setting, which allows you to set each individual scale coordinate. Oh. When we play an animation, the crowbar seems to be attached to the head. This is where the welded configuration comes in. We can set it to the right arm, which is the part we want to weld this crowbar to. And now, as you can see, the animation actually works with this crowbar. Now that it has a weapon, it wouldn't make sense for the bear to slash the player though, so let's change the animations. Perfect. I'm going to try to fix this hit sound bug, but aside from that, I'm going to name the character and save it. Since we don't need the old model anymore, I can double-click the trash icon to delete it. So now, I will actually be able to use this model in my game. Moment of truth. And there it is. Let's press play and look at the animations and hear the sounds while it chases me. Perfect. But before I end the video, I want to show you two more features. The two features are decals and transparency. Decals actually don't work the way you might expect. Let me demonstrate. Once you click the decal button, the decal will appear on the part that is in the camera's focus, or in other words, the part that is in the middle of the screen. To delete decals, you just use the delete tool. Once all of the decals of the part are gone, then the part itself will delete. You can tint and make the decal transparent by using the part texture. Like in the concept game, there's an input box that allows you to set the transparency. Of course, you can also make regular parts transparent using this. For example, if we want to add a face to the head of our character, we can use this decal feature. Keep in mind that when using round shapes like spheres, cylinders, heads, etc., the decal may appear on the wrong face. You can change the ID by pasting it in the box at the bottom. As you can see, the decal did appear on the wrong side of the head. But anyways, that was it for today. In case you were wondering, I'll look into adding an option to make your character friendly or hostile in the future. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.
you.